I think that you get it. You know by instinct that there's more to manifestation than simply closing your eyes, visualizing, and suddenly things happen in your life. While most gurus out there, most people out there will tell you that this is all you got to do to attract the things you want in your life, you know that there's something missing. Now, here's the really, really big problem with everyone teaching you this stuff out there. They tell you to visualize, they tell you to feel those emotions as if it was real, but they forget one really important part. We visualize and we feel with our brains. And if you don't know how this brain of yours works, this 3-pound brain of yours work, how can you fully exploit it to attract the things you want in your life? You can't. It's like if I was trying to teach you how to drive an F1 racing car, which you have right here, but the only driving experience I had was sitting in the back of my mom's minivan, watching her drive, watching her do this with a steering wheel and one pedal here and one pedal there. Sure, I can tell you the basic mechanics, but will that make you able to drive a F1 car? No, I mean, you're not going to be able to drive properly that car, right? So today what I want to do is I want to teach you how your brain works. And a person can become totally focused and easily understand whether it takes you one listen or two. I promise you, you're going to be able to understand how your brain works and use it to its full advantage just after watching this video. So to make things simple, what we're going to do is that we're going to look at a slightly outdated theory called the tri-brain model theory, which basically says you have 3 brains. You have what's called the neocortex right here, which literally means new cover. By the way, your brain is about 86 billion neurons, and only about 14 billion of those neurons are in this neocortex. Now, your neocortex is basically what makes you different from monkeys. It's what allows you to count. It's where logic resides, for instance, right? It's what makes us human. But out of the 86 billion neurons that we have, only about 14 billion are here. So the majority of the brain power that we have resides under. So when we look inside the brain right here, we have what's called the limbic system. Now, the limbic system is where your emotions reside. It's also where your identity lives. There's a very important part of your brain called the MPCC-PCC that lives in this particular area. And this, once again, is where your identity resides, where your identity lives. And right underneath this, we have the reptilian brain or the brain stem. Now, this is where we have all the automatic systems, right? So your heart rate is controlled by your brainstem, your breathing, your digestion, all of that is controlled by the brainstem. Now, if you spend any time in the manifestation community, you've heard about this brain region called the RAS, Reticular Activating System, and it lives right here on the brainstem. Now, it should tell you how important this region of the brain is and how important the RAS is. Because once again, what is the brainstem all about? It's about controlling your bodily function. It's about keeping you alive. And this is where the RAS is. So, everyone in the manifestation community tells you you must be able to activate your RAS to attract the things you want in your life. The problem is that the RAS does not speak English, Chinese, Spanish, Italian, whatever. It speaks the language of contrast. And if we want to activate this RAS, we need to speak the language of contrast. And when you close your eyes and simply say, you know, I want to visualize the spouse of my dream, or I want to visualize and manifest. By the way, there's helicopters running around here. I'm sorry. There's an air base that's very close to here. And it's just, you know, helicopters all the time, so I apologize for that. Let's go back. So a lot of people, you know, they want to manifest the spouse of their dreams or the life of their dreams, and they visualize all the happy things. and then they wonder why it's not working. Well, this is because the brain needs contrast. The brain needs to see contrast to activate this survival part of your brain. Your brain, once again, is a bottom-up system, meaning that the most important information is here, and then as it goes up, it gets less and less and less important. So we're going to target this area of your brain. And I want to give you a little story, a true story. This is the story of Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps is one of the most decorated Olympians of all time. He is a champion by all definitions. I think he's won more gold medals than anyone in the history of the Olympics. And so it's really interesting to see how Michael Phelps actually visualizes. One of the things that separates Michael from all other athletes is his intense visualization rituals. From the moment he was very, very young, Michael visualized first person, meaning him doing the race, third person, meaning him seeing doing the race, but he also visualized himself winning the race, as well as all the things that could go bad. He visualized losing the race. Now, why did he visualize losing the race? Most gurus out there will tell you if you visualize vividly and you feel it, like Michael did, he felt losing the race, he visualized losing the race, and it was painful. But all these gurus out there will tell you if you visualize this, it will happen. It won't. And here's the reason why. Michael's definition of who he was someone who won races, right? And so when he started to visualize losing the race, what this did is that it created a survival threat to his identity. And his brain said, hey, wait, buddy, this ain't allowed. I don't want to lose no fucking race. I'm a winner. This is my identity. You are threatening my identity here. This is not going to happen on my watch. I'm going to win this race. And so this conditioning conditioned Michael's brain to win race after race after race because that negative visualization was a threat to the existence of his identity. Now, here's the thing. Part of you, if you're honest with yourself, is okay with having the life that you have right now. Right? Part of you feels safe with the life that you have right now. It's something that you know. It's the known and it's safe. It might not be enjoyable, but it's safe. And therefore, your brain keeps it as close guarded as its identity, right? I don't have the love that I want. I don't have the riches that I want, but it's part of who I am. And it's going to fight to the death to keep this definition of who you are alive. So what we must do is introduce a threat to that identity. Hope this makes sense. So let's assume that you want to have the spouse of your dream. Part of you believes that you may not deserve that spouse of your dream. Maybe it was your parents when you were younger had some discussions talking about true love does not exist. Maybe it's some movies that you saw. Maybe it's discussions with your friends that create this belief within yourself that you don't deserve it, or this is not the kind of person that you are. You are not the kind of person that has those kind of relationships. So how could we create an existential threat to that belief so that belief gets out of the window? Step number one, I want you to close your eyes and visualize as vividly and emotionally as possible a year down the road, the worst absolute case scenario, if nothing changes in your life. And I do mean the worst case scenario. I mean, you're alone, you're sad, you're dirty, you're in the street. I mean, a nightmare scenario. And I want you to tell yourself, if nothing changes in my life, this is the guaranteed future. This is the guaranteed future 1 year down the road. If nothing changes in my life, I'm all alone, I'm dirty, I'm in the street, people laugh at me, I'm ridiculed. It feels so bad to be lonely. I'm an old cat lady or whatever, right? All alone. That is going to be painful. And I want you to stay within that moment for a while. This painful, dreadful moment visualization. It's very important to stay in it, to feel it. And then what we're going to do is I want you to switch it around. And we're going to look at the absolute best case scenario. A year down the road, your dream spouse is there, you're happy, you're on the beach, laughing, drinking Mai Tais, your dream life, right? Basically the visualization you've been doing all these years. And what happens here is that there's a contrast which your RAS and this part of the brain, the brainstem, the brainstem understand this contrast. Your limbic system understand the emotional contrast too. And it says, fuck, I don't want to be this pathetic loser. This is a threat. This is a huge threat to my existence. I might be comfortable in this, life that I have right now, which I think is kind of mediocre. But this is a nightmare scenario. I don't want that shit. This is 1,000 times worse than what I have right now. And then you present your brain with the alternative, the thing you truly want. And your brain says, I have two choices. Nightmare or ideal. And your brain chooses the ideal and starts activating your RAS, reticular activating system, so that you can start noticing things in your life that pulls you towards that direction. But you cannot be pulled towards that direction if you don't create the contrast between the bad and the good. And the contrast needs to be dramatic. The problem that you have right now is that the contrast between your waking life and what you want to have is not dramatic enough because you're comfortable in your misery. You're comfortable in this area of your life and just having what you're having because you're surviving. You need to make it 1,000 times worse. And I do mean 1,000 times worse. And it's not fun. It's not enjoyable. But I promise you, once you do this exercise, you will never go back to the same kind of visualization that you've done again, which is only the happy, happy, happy stuff. Because that contrast, first of all, feels so fucking amazing. It feels fantastic. And you will see within a day or two, things starting to line up, I promise you. If you like this kind of video, please go ahead, like, subscribe. And if you want private coaching from me, all my information is going to be down below. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, and bye for now.